Well, hello, gorgeous people. So it's Runic Thor's day. I'm struggling today. We went out yesterday. I put a couple of um, videos up on YouTube. We went to Monmouth for the day and then found King Arthur's cave, and it was really amazing. But I am absolutely shattered, sore throat, body hurting all over. But there we go. That's what happens if I go out and I'm in the car. I don't have to walk about. Well, I can't walk about a lot, but um I hurt just sitting in the car. I hurt standing. Yeah, whatever. So very boring. Yesterday on Mastery there was a question by Elise, and Amanda was chatting with Elise, and it made me think of doing this video. So basically, I'm going to chat about dowsing with the runes, because you'd think, well, why would you douse with the runes? Because you you have them in your bag, you blow on them, clear all the energies from the last time you pulled. So, and then you go in, and what rune will help me today? And I've got mana. No, I haven't. I've got Airwares partnership. So, why would you need to douse then? Because it would seem a bit bizarre. But dowsing is brilliant with the runes if you're doing like a bind rune, a sigil, you want to put a couple of runes together for something, you want to do a spell or something. So dowsing is great. Now, I've got a few pendulums here. Got a really big, heavy bronzite one. This sort of pendulum I wouldn't use for that, although it's got a nice point. I would use that more outside for dowsing energies outside, because it's a big pendulum. You can get like little teeny pendulums. Obviously, that's another crystal one. I wouldn't really use this one particularly with the runes unless I had like the runes out or my cards out. When you douse with the runes, it's better to use cards, because you can have them like that and you can then douse over them. Let's see if we can get anything. Which card? Yeah, see, I picked that with my eyes, but the pendulum did sort of go there, but I wouldn't take that as very... What have we got? We've got... yeah, I forgot these cards have a 25th card. So we've got Algies and Rado. Yeah, I don't even know what that card is actually, because I don't normally use it. I don't normally have it in the back. Anyway, I mean, that would normally be seen as a blank rune, wouldn't it? So, but yeah, if you're gonna douse, I would use cards more than your normal runes. But if you have thrown your runes, and so you have it on your rune cloth, then a pendulum's great. So say you've got a couple of runes off to the side. Now you might think, no, I'm not connecting with them. I think they're either in the past or they're not applicable to this rune reading. You can always make sure with a pendulum. So if you're umming and ahhing, is that really part of this? You can ask a pendulum. Now, I was taught how to use pendulum thousands of years ago, seems. And the best way to use a pendulum is, this is going to be difficult because I'm going to be quite close, but basically you put your elbow on a table so you're really, really, really sturdy. And then you need to ask a pendulum, give me your yes. And we're getting a back and forward there. Give me your no. And we're going round in a circle. Now, some people say that going round clockwise is a yes and anti-clockwise is a no, and yes and a no. Now, don't take that as gospel with a pendulum. Pendulums are really, really specific. The pendulum is really, really specific. So you may have 10 pendulums and they give you a yes like that and a no that way, or they go round. You may get the 11th. There's a nice little rainbow. Hide my baldness. Yeah, you get a new thing. Every single pendulum you get, work with to ask the questions, because no pendulum works like, oh, I'm going round in circles, not getting anywhere. Right. Some people say that a pendulum, any pendulum you work with, will be so specific to you that if your pendulum goes yes for clockwise and no for anti-clockwise, that's your thing and that'll be always. That's not true. I have never found that to be true. Each pendulum will work different. I've got pendulums that do yes. I've got pendulums that go anti-clockwise for yes. I've got pendulums that go up and down. I've got pendulums that go up and then clockwise or anti-clockwise. So if you buy a new pendulum, you need to work with it to find out, and then you need to sort of know what each pendulum does. So in a way, you're better off with one pendulum or maybe a couple. So I have a pendulum that is in with my Reiki stuff that is just for doing like healings with that. And I have my wooden pendulum, which I've used a lot. That's really good for like herb work because this undoes, so you can put stuff in and see if that's what you want to use. I've got a pendulum in with my back flower remedy kit, and I only ever use that pendulum for my back flower stuff. I don't use it for anything else. It just stays with that. And then some of these random ones I've got here I use for also that's a tourmaline and quartz, quite a big pendulum. This would work really, really well with the runes if I'm working with a board. And this one I haven't really christened as such. I bought it and then it's just sort of been sitting there. I'm not sure that is tourmaline, you know. Anyway, it's quite heavy, and because it's got a nice little point, it's really, really good. Then I've got one in my little snake pouch. I love this little pouch. Tina Cousins made this. I love her stuff. This one I love because it's copper and really, really, really heavy. And it's really, really stuck. There we go. I love it. This works really, really well. I love it. So, and when you ask it your yes and your no, so you should have your arm on the table, so your thingy. You can have your hand underneath it. Pendulums quite often like that because they connect with your energy. So give me your yes. Now you see I've got the same yes that I had before. Give me your no. And again, anti-clockwise no. See, so I mean, some might all work the same, but some might be different. Then once you've got that, you then need to sort of interrogate it more. So you ask questions that you know the answer to. So you would then go, is my name Suzanne? So I'm getting a nice yes that we had before. Am I married to Glenn? Nice yes. Is my maiden name Black? No. So you ask yes and no questions to really affirm the yes and no. Some people say that you can tell a pendulum, I want you to go that way for yes, and I want you to go that way for no. I've never done that. I don't know if it works. It doesn't seem right to me. I get the pendulum to you know, do the work as such. So I got another little one here. This one's this one's beautiful because it's a lovely crystal with tourmalines around the outside, but it's quite hard to, well, it's not got any point. So if you want it to like really, if you were working with like a pendulum sheet, it might be a bit difficult to use, but it might not, it might work. And then you've got this sort of pendulum, which is great. So this opens up again a bit like the wooden one, and you can put a crystal in there. I've got a piece of moldavite in there, little tiny piece of moldavite sits in there. So let's see what this one does. So give me your yes. Anti-clockwise. Give me your no. Completely the opposite, you see? So anyway, so that's sort of very basic how you sort of connect with the pendulum and how you work. Now, so with the runes, if you've sprayed thrown them on a cloth and you just want to pinpoint which ones, then you would take your pendulum and you would go over to the rune that's say over there, and then you would just say, are you part of this spread? Are you do you have things for me to learn from you? Do you have things to tell me? Or have you fallen outside of my working and you don't have anything to say? So you have to formulate your questions, but you basically want questions where you're going to get a yes and a no. Now, sometimes a pendulum will just sit quivering, and it won't have the answer. So it'll just sit and it'll be moving, but it won't be doing anything. Then you might need then to change your question. So it's maybe the question isn't specific enough. Now, what I decided that I wanted to do, because I wanted to use the pendulum with the runes for different things. So I wanted a way to, like when I use essences, well, when I'm making an essence, so I might have like some essential oils, and my head might be saying, oh, frankincense would work really well with that. But when you're using your head, sometimes, and especially when it's going to be connected to the runes, so if you know your runes and you think, well, you know, oh, T-Wes would be great for that, you know, because your head has decided that T-Wes would be great for that because you know what T-Wes is. But often you're not so your head is in the way and you're not going past that. So you're stuck on your knowledge in your head. You don't want to do that, especially if you're going to make a sigil or you're going to make an essence or something. You want to go past that. And I learned this really, really strongly when I was using the back flowers, because I got a set of back flower cards. So I would look through them and I would say, oh yeah, that one is standing out. So yeah, I think that one. And with the back flowers, you can use up to 5 essences in like a remedy bottle for yourself. So like Rescue Remedy has got a few in, like, I think it's, I can't remember, rock water, I can't remember what's in them all. So you might have 7 cards out, and you might have read up, and you might go, well, yeah, that seems right, and you might have missed one because it doesn't make any sense to you. You're thinking, well, I don't need that essence, that doesn't make sense. But when it's combined with another essence, then you get like a new signature because they've come together. And the same happens with the runes. So, you know, Bacano means Bacano, but then you stick it with Sawello, you've almost got a 3rd rune in there, because you've got the essences of that. So they might negate some parts of each other, and they might empower some other parts that are deeper that you may not know. And you don't know what healing necessarily you need, or because again, you're using your head and you're thinking, well, I need healing for this, and I feel that this is going on, but that may be going on, but there may be something deeper that's going on that you haven't got to. So you might need layers to come off. So if you're doing shadow work, there's layers and layers and layers. So when you're using a pendulum, you know, you're going to get maybe a rune that you just thought, no, that is not for that. That doesn't make sense. But you've bypassed your head, so that's great. Now, obviously, you can lay the runes out. Obviously, you can have the cards laid out. But what I did is I made a dowsing pendulum board. So this is a very small one. So I'd want maybe this one, because obviously if it goes over, like, oh, we got Perthrow, funnily enough, that's my rune for the week. So you would say, what rune will help me with my protection remedy? And you would have it in the middle of your board, and then you would just let it find. There we go. Ah, there we go. Look at that. And I'm not doing it very well, but we got algaes there. And then you would say, is there any more runes that I need to put with that? Oh, and we've got mana. No, we've got Awaz, which I picked out, didn't I? That's a bit weird. So, and then so you would need like a thing that you're gonna say. So, you know, I want to make a sigil for healing for me at this time. What runes would be a great combination for this healing sigil? Now, if you were obviously doing it for someone else, you could say, what runes would be great in this healing sigil for my friend, and say the name, blah blah blah. What runes would be great to make for this protection sigil for my house, someone else's house, blah blah blah. And then you just ask. And then if you've got, say, 3 runes, say, then you could say again, are there any more runes that I need to put in this? And you get a yes or a no. And you just keep working in that sort of way. Now, I have started a biggie. So, but I haven't finished burning this one. So this one be possibly easier to use. One, you could use a bigger pendulum. So maybe I could even use this pendulum with this one. And obviously you're going to have it flat on your table, and you would be in the middle space. So you just be in the middle space there. Now you could make one out of cloth. You could, in fact, I'm going to do that now because I've just put it in my own head. I need a cloth one. Oh my God, I'm going to make a cloth. Yes, that will be, in fact, do you know what? That, I think I prefer it. This is made out of a chopping board. And I've just pyrographed. Not very well, actually. It's a bit... only because this is bamboo and it's absolutely rubbish to burn on. Bamboo's not good to burn on. So it just doesn't really work very well. And this I had to sand off stuff, I think, as well. So, but anyway, it will eventually be finished. You know, but the little one's lovely. It's just a lovely little ply piece of wood from Hobbycraft, I think. Just a little circle. I've put some cork on the back, so it sits on the table, doesn't move. It's lovely. And I burnt on that and I coloured it. I don't know why I think acrylic inks, I think, not acrylic inks, alcohol inks. I think I just dropped all over it. But I quite liked the coloured thing. So really, really handy though. You know, and quite small, so you can put it anywhere, and it's really handy. This one's a bit big and bulky, but a cloth would be great. So that's going to be one of my next things that I shall be doing. I should be making a nice big cloth one. Well, not big. I'll make it to fit on my table here. But yeah, so you can really, really then work with, you know, get the energies that the universe knows that you need, rather than you thinking you need. There is absolutely nothing wrong with, well, I think I need Bacano because I want to work with this, because you know your runes. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You could do that and then douse to see if what you've got is right, or do I need to add in another one that I didn't think about? You know, so you could pick them from your knowledge. So you could think, right, I want to do a protection rune, and I'm going to use algaes, and I'm going to use Thurizaz, and I'm going to use, what other one would we? I don't know, but Kinaz came up for me then, so I don't know what that's about. And then you just say, right, should I use Thurizaz in this healing bind rune, healing sigil, healing essence? And yeah, you just literally, you know, ask. So it's just another way of working with the runes. It's quite good fun. You could, you know, like I say, you could, if you picked some cards, you could have them face down, and then you could just douse on the card. So you would just douse, is, you know, is this card, is this rune the correct rune for me to use? Obviously you could use your runes as well, and just literally ask the rune. It's just giving you a different way of working with the runes. Giving away, you know, you might have pendulums and not really use them, but you could like pick a specific pendulum that you are then only going to use with your runes, and then you could keep it with one of your sets of runes or something, which I haven't really done particularly. So I might decide, actually. I see, the thing is, I love my wooden one, but I mean, it is quite big. I did think about burning a rune on here, but I'm not going to, because it's just lovely. And the thing is with this, it's got a bit of amber at the thing, so it feels very runey to me. And most of my runes are wooden, so I tend to feel this one and maybe my copper one, because I just love that copper one. But yeah, so playing with the runes, with dowsing, with pendulums, yeah, just something for you to do. So I'm going to go now because I am so tired. I feel really rough, and I think I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and everything. And yeah, hope you get something from that. I hope you start playing with a pendulum. If you have any questions, put in the comments. I have been working with pendulums for years. It's funny, funny story. I went to I was part of a spiritual group, and the lady knew a lady who had a lot of ground, and she had like a stone circle in her back garden, and that they built because they had loads and loads of really powerful ley lines. And we for our group that night, we went to this lady's house to walk around her garden to work with pendulums and stuff. And I hadn't really sort of worked with them that much, but there was a lady, Claire. She was lovely. I lost touch with Claire, and I wish I hadn't, but I don't know her last name, so I can't sort of try and get in touch with her. And she used to say nothing worked for her. Like, she struggled to meditate. She'd just say, like, when we'd done like a meditation and then we had to discuss our journey and what we'd got, she'd always say, oh, I didn't really get anything. You know me, I don't get anything. She didn't have a pendulum, and I was selling crystals at the time, and I had a few at home. So I brought along a pendulum because we knew we were going to go to this woman. And I brought along a pendulum, and I gave it to her, and I said, oh, you know, you can use that. And so we went off, and we were in this field, and we were sort of, you know, all feeling, trying to douse for the ley lines and things and whatever. And a couple of people were like, oh yeah, I can feel this. And the pendulum was really going mad. And Claire came running over, and she goes, oh, let me. And she got this pendulum. Well, I've never seen a pendulum swing that much. The energy was like massive. And she just stood there so excited, screaming with excitement because something had worked for her. And I was like, oh goodness, because it was like really quite over the top but fun. And then someone said to me, have you tried using dowsing rods? I said, no, I've never used them. So a lady said, oh, try these. So I'm walking along with these dowsing rods, not really thinking much about them, because the pendulum I'd already worked with, and I could get that a pendulum works. But I just like these rods, and I'm walking along, and all of a sudden they just crossed with the most like strong power. I was so shocked, I threw them into the air. So I made as much fuss as Claire did, but it was a good night. It was such fun. But they are really good to work with, really good to like feel into energies, and they work with the runes. You can use them with the runes. So yeah, so I'm going to leave you with that sort of memory there, maybe going back in time. Yeah, so let me know if you like the video. Thumbs up, all that business that I'm going to try and say from now on. And yeah, any questions? Love questions, or love chatting in the chats, and hope you enjoy it. And happy Runic Thor's Day. It's a nice energy today. It's an expansion because it's Jupiter energy. And we've got a number 4, so that's like foundation, so you can expand on your foundations of stuff. So If you've worked with the pendulum before, you could now expand and start working and building a new relationship with the pendulum and the runes. So good day for that if you want to play around, and let me know how you go. So love and blessings. Thank you, Elise and Amanda, for sort of giving me the idea of this video. I know you don't know you've given me the idea, but you did. Yeah, go and play with your pendulums and the runes. Love and blessings. Bye.